Hello.
Give us that one there.
Right on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good.
What's up?
It was I mean it was pleasing to the ear, so
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm.
um in the midst of all your creative energies and all the places that is all going, I mean I would love to talk this idea that we were
No doubt.
that you
So I have a summary, a log line, and then a bigger summary. All three different ideas.
Okay.
I have summary, and then at the end I have like inspirations
Okay.
or where it's coming from.
Yeah.
So, okay, Harrison Ford has gotten way into bird watching, which is made clear in the opening scene as he drags Gibson along, only to have Gibson question the motive. It's unusual to him. During this trip, Gibson realizes that his friend Ford is experiencing something drastically wrong with his health, but not being said. Ford gets a checkup, brain scans and the like. Doctors send Ford home with nothing more than a lollipop. Yet his behavior becomes increasingly erratic, noticed by his friend Gibson. Gibson decides to move in. He forces it upon Ford, who hates the idea. Ford wants his space, yet his mental stability is declining. Gibson acts as caretaker. With a heartfelt and emotionally traumatic story of the two elderly men facing the latter years of their lives at two separate paces. And then I put a maybe. In the end, we find Gibson is also terminally ill and possibly even makes it to death quicker than Ford. My two inspirations are Awakenings, Robin Williams and Robert De Niro.
I haven't seen it.
I can't. Wow. Oh, damn. You haven't seen Awakenings?
No, dude.
Oh, man. De Niro is just like, can you even see me right now?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I don't need to do it again. So I don't know if I can't remember the name, but Ray Romano and Mark Duplass are in a Netflix movie, where one of them is terminally ill, and the other one is a friend, kind of with like autism or on the spectrum, and just like stays with him until So
Yeah.
crazy, sad movie, but I loved it. So that's the idea for that.
Right on.
Should I say all of mine, or do you want?
We can go person to person. I mean,
Yeah,
mine are a little. I don't have anything as succinct as a full summary of a film. Mine are just concepts. But
Word.
yeah, look, we can just go So I mean, by person to person, meaning that you can list off.
Mm-hmm.
You can go through what you've got.
So this is an idea that I've already said to you, but I would love to see it with either Gibson or Ford.
Mm-hmm.
Either Gibson or Ford struggles with a life-altering vice, of which their struggle is unbeknownst to himself, whomever that shall be. And that's actually all that I got out of that one. But basically, it would be that. So I had like, let's just say that it came out that I was not making my money from TikTok because it was not actually paying, but that I was just for money. Picture that. Very detailed. No, I'm just joking.
Right, yeah.
But something to that effect, where the story the whole time is this progression of this story, only to have be revealed that it was just something wildly different, something illegal, something,
Yeah.
you know, and it would be like like a alcoholic, but like a functioning alcoholic, like a functioning schizophrenic. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah, 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 yeah.
you know, um, yeah. I like that concept.
I love the twist on the unreliable narrator. I think that's just a um
Are you talking actual narrator or like?
not actual narrator, like
Okay.
the but you're
Mm,
because there's a couple different ways that you could play it from, we're being told what he's saying
mm,
and then come to find out that it's something
yeah.
completely different.
Yeah.
Or are we outside looking in? Because there's a couple different ways that it can be played, but it sounds like you're more leaning towards the former with it,
Yes.
that it's a
Exactly.
discovery for the audience as you go
Yeah.
forward.
Definitely.
um
Mhm.
Same way that like that I mean, Joker was one of the things that you listed when
Yeah.
uh yeah, I I still dig that idea. I do. Yeah.
Outside looking in is fun though too.
Yeah.
That's a good because you know this dude is messed up, and then you're curious enough to stay. I would think
Yeah.
that's a good idea too. But that really, I don't know how to involve the other one, the other person,
Right.
unless he just wouldn't be f***ing real in the end. You know, it'd be like a um, uh, Christmas, three ghosts.
Yeah, yeah,
So my next one is my favorite, and
yeah.
this idea I would love to see just played out by them. I'll read. I will read the inspirations first.
Okay.
Lakeview Terrace,
Yep.
Pacific Heights, Ransom, and any finger pointing Harrison Ford movie.
Yes.
So um, they are pitted against one another in a gritty kidnapping thriller. Mel Gibson lives next door to Ford, just moved in. Gibson's background is really messed up. Maybe not detailed exactly, but we're thinking prison, life of crime, currently wanted. Could be sex offender of some sort. Harrison Ford, on the other hand, is a new retiree of whatever industry. Like he doesn't have to be a cop, anything. He could just be a regular Joe,
Hmm.
or just becoming a retiree in that transitional period. Speaking of, his daughter just started hers. She's that young. She's 14 to 16 and could have even started it late, and that could be somewhere in the story. Um,
Yeah.
the keyword being period there. Somewhere in here, Gibson kidnaps her. Possibly, I don't know that I want to reveal the end here. Okay.
Totally at your discretion.
Um, a possible end reveal could show that in Ford's incredible and detective like search for her, prisoners, that's another one. Prisoners.
Mm.
She was next door the entire time.
Mm.
Yet Gibson does a huge fake out by leading Ford and the authorities to think that he's taken her far away. Lonely Bones, Lovely Bones. That's another one.
Jennifer Lawrence.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
Um.
Or is that?
No, no, that is Stanley Tucci and Saoirse Ronan. Uh,
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So similar to that
Winter's
movie.
Bone. Sorry.
Um.
Winter's Bone was Jennifer Lawrence.
Yes. Yeah, that's true.
Sorry, go ahead.
Her first movie. That was her first.
Yes.
And Saoirse Ronan is super young. I mean, she was, I think, 14 at the time of this movie. And based on a book, Stanley Tucci is, it has one of the most intense scenes I've seen in a long time. But make it a sex trafficking movie with an underlying message about not being able to find someone in a relationship despite the close proximity. Because I'm of the opinion that proximity does not matter.
Mm.
this could even be hidden in the title if we use some sort of foreign word translation as the name, as an avant-garde feel.
Right.
Um, so yeah, definitely Prisoners. I'm gonna put that down. Prisoners and Lovely Bones for that idea. And that one I obviously went the most in depth for. Those are my ideas. I thought I would bring three, expecting you to have, couple, multiple, whatever. So
Yes, what's cool listening to everything, all three of them actually, is hopefully you'll be on the same page with this, that as I'm going through, just again, these are more vague, not necessarily detailed from beginning to end, but concepts that I feel like we have a common ground as far as what we would want to see
yeah,
out of them.
yeah,
So I'll just, if I can, I'll just go ahead and just read this note from beginning to end.
totally.
It's gonna take about 3 or 4 hours. That's no, not true. Um, yeah, because some of this I might do that thing where I'm reading it and then I remember what it is.
Yeah.
All right. First place that I started out was with their ages, because I actually didn't know off the top of my head.
Oh wow.
And Ford being 78 and Gibson being 65, and a 13-year age difference was actually surprising to me.
Wow.
And yeah, so I started to, that was just kind of a starting point as far as like, okay, so what is their relationship? And all right, so general feel. As a moviegoer, I wouldn't just want to see a Ford Gibson collab. I'd want to see them face off, whether psychologically or in a classic good versus evil scenario. Like, it's not just a buddy buddy thing. It's like they've got to be going like clashing, you know.
I see. I was almost verbatim, dude. I was thinking battle of wits or
Yeah.
physical brawl. You know?
Yes, dude.
Yeah.
It's yeah. As far as themes, some of these things are just like, they're small, and then I'll get to the specific ideas. Themes that I thought, mortality was the first one that came to my head, being that they're both 60s plus, and like even in that, in a couple of your ideas, technically speaking, I think there would be room for like mortality.
Yeah.
Investigation into that. And then the other one was forgiveness. And the reason that forgiveness came to my head, like no like intended in this, but just in Mel Gibson, like, and Mel Gibson's life. You know, there is still to this day this question of like people are split about who Mel Gibson is. That he still sparks conversation between people, just in his own life. And like I was thinking, I got a really vague, not vague, Robert Downey Jr. at, I don't remember what award show it was, but he, trying to think if it was him walking out on stage with Mel Gibson or introducing Mel Gibson, and like word for word just speaking to the audience like, you guys gave me a second chance.
Oh wow.
You don't get to just, like, it was a vouch for, and it was a very public, straightforward vouching
Damn.
for Mel Gibson from Robert Downey Jr. yeah, because like I mean, both like alcohol, like they would be, you know,
Yeah.
um,
They were in a movie together,
uh,
like
which one's that?
1990 or something. They're pilots together in the war.
Shit, oh, I
Late
missed that
80s. Yeah. And I
one.
think that's where their relationship began, and I can only assume has continued since.
Yeah,
Yeah.
interesting. No, totally wasn't. Yeah.
Hmm.
Um, so starting small picture and then big picture stuff.
Mhm.
Basically like three or four just different. Like one of them is just titled "Flip the Script Idea."
Hmm.
Um, Harrison Ford has this borderline cliche surrounding him as the perpetual father slash husband in search of his endangered family and or justice for lost family.
Hmm.
This is like the quintessential finger pointing Harrison Ford um, that you were referencing, and I think again, damn, there's some of the things like the number of things that Family Guy can take
Hmm.
credit for, like just the number of times where I'm like, what's this from? Oh, yeah, it's from Family Guy. But him just running around and like grabbing people and going, "Where's my family?" and then running to the next person and grabbing them, "Where's my family?"
Yeah,
Um,
I've seen that.
yeah, that was something that came to mind as I was putting this together. So the reason that I kind of titled this "Flip the Script" idea was it was basically what if he was put in the other role for once, like the role of the guilty,
Hmm.
someone who wronged somebody years ago, perhaps without their knowledge. Not too many films out there with Ford playing the villain instead of the good guy. What if
Yeah.
we use that to our
Yeah.
advantage and set him up as the good guy, only to reveal him as the villain?
Hmm.
Um, and that was like that's the extent of that flip the script idea. Um, uh, prison release film. Uh, Ford and or Gibson play a man released from prison after basically a lifetime sentence, a la Shawshank, a guy with absolutely no clue how the world works, scared shitless to blend in. The other, whoever whoever's playing which part, I don't know who in my head. But the other basically plays the tortured victim of
Oh,
trauma and or grief inflicted on them by the prisoner of all those years ago, and it's like a trauma or grief that they've never recovered from
wow.
and they've never forgiven, and
Wow.
like to this day long to get even, and now after a lifetime sentence this person is out in the open.
Right.
um Perhaps we don't even know what the crime was until a good ways into the movie, and then as an audience are conflicted about who to root for.
Hmm.
um the For some reason, the movie that came to my head was Seraphim Falls. You seen Seraphim Falls?
No.
I found it because leading up to The Revenant, it was the movie that a lot of people were quoting as like, this looks like kind of like Seraphim Falls on steroids, and I was like, what the
Hmm.
fuck is Seraphim Falls? Um, Pierce Brosnan and Liam Neeson as Civil War era uh, Northern and Southern going head to head.
Whoa.
Pierce Brosnan was the commander of basically responsible for killing Liam Neeson's family. Um,
Oh.
Responsible for the slaughter of his family, and in the wake of the war, it's a revenge flick. It's
Uh-huh.
like, and uh and the whole time you're just kind of like, I don't know who to root for here, like.
Mm.
um but
What's
that
it
was
called?
what's that?
What's it? Sarah from Falls?
Yeah, Seraphim, I think
Oh,
it's
I see.
PHIM, Seraphim
Mm.
Falls.
Gotcha. Wow.
Yeah. So that one.
I will
That,
watch that one.
yeah, please do. It's been I would be since before The Revenant came out that I actually saw it.
Wow.
Uh, anti-revenge film. This is something that, like, when I just click in my notes and I type in idea, it popped up from a couple years ago of something I just jotted down.
Sure.
Just that basically it's the character who has committed a crime, and a very legitimate severe crime
Mhm.
against another, but has legitimately repented,
Mm.
and like done the time uh, and moved forward. Um, and the revenge is being inflicted by the wounded on someone that the audience is like, hang on, but this person has done their so I trying to anti-revenge was the only thing that kind of came to my head. It was like it's a revenge film with just a little flip in it.
Yeah.
Um
And that's still the prison flick. Right?
yes. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I
Yeah.
thought you were describing another one, and I was like, that sounds like the.
No, it's
But
yeah, it was noted underneath the
gotcha.
and in here it's Harrison Ford committed the crime against Mel Gibson.
Gotcha.
Um Potentially the other way around, but that was my instinct.
Mm.
Um Woke horror idea. This this is probably my like oddball of the group.
Sure.
But I wrote it down anyway. Woke horror is big right now. It's surprising to me that there hasn't been a definitive dementia-based horror film yet. Both Ford and Gibson are in that spot in their lives. Gibson especially could play the tragedy of that well. And maybe the sufferers. No, go ahead.
Ford could play a totally different angle, but beautifully as well.
Yes.
I'm having trouble describing what that would be, but it would be like confusion. I would say his would be lighter than Gibson's would. Gibson would be
Yeah.
dark,
Yes.
which I
Yeah.
would want.
For
Um,
sure.
but I really like that. So in a horror film, yeah, totally.
Um, and the notes that I put under that was like, um, maybe the sufferer of dementia is not objectively a good person, as in like despised by their own family, even in light of their flaws in their youth. And part of the journey of this movie for the younger protagonists, as well as the audience, is where do we draw the line as far as morality is concerned? True, these people may have been awful in their lives, but does this mean that they deserve the monster that dementia is, which is just like one of the just objectively cruelest um, diseases to just watch.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
uh,
Oh yeah.
and then this was the thing as you were describing your first idea. Um, Maybe one of them is the estranged brother coming to visit and or treat and or say goodbye to the one with dementia. So in this case, I think it would be Ford with the dementia, Gibson coming to visit. Um, Perhaps the one suffering from dementia has been living under a parent's constant protection, and now the parent has died, and the estranged brother is faced with what the fuck to do with this sick brother that I actually hate.
Mhm.
Um, it could, like, if you went full horror with, would be like potentially even just like a Telltale Heart direction, where the dementia brother just drives the sane brother to the brink of insanity, maybe even to the point of like one of those self-motivated mercy killings, like that kind of shit. But I just, yeah, there's dementia is something that I've been thinking about, like, where is the, like, with all the horror that's been coming out these last 3 or 4 years that are specific, like, issue based horror. I'm like, because dementia by itself is terrifying. Like, that's the thing, is that you don't even need much exaggeration beyond the actual.
And you know what? I'm terrified of dementia, and I've never seen it in person. But I think it was just yesterday or 2 days ago. Very recent memory. I was picturing myself. When's the next time I'm gonna get to talk to my grandpa? He just turned. He will be 78 in April.
Mm.
When's the next time I'm gonna talk to him? I haven't talked to him probably over a year in person. But I pictured him asking me a question completely off topic.
Mm.
And then it was almost like I pictured an over the shoulder shot of me realizing, oh my god, this is the start to some sort of
Oh shit. Yeah.
like I pictured the moment of recognition something's not right.
Yep.
And how terrifying that alone would be, much less to have dementia happening in a dark time to a dark person. Yeah. Oh my god, dude. Like legitimate dementia in the mind of a violent, crazed person.
Ooh.
That's like, are you familiar with Carnage?
Uh, Carnage
Dude,
program film.
Venom. Venom and
Oh,
Carnage.
the villain,
Yeah,
the red one, right? He's the big
I
red Venom.
love Carnage.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever expressed my love for him, but I have
No.
always loved Carnage so much, dude. Just like ravenous, craze, somebody who I would love to play him
Yeah.
is Teabag.
Oh.
Yeah, I would love to see Teabag. Woody Harrelson is playing him right now in the next Spider-Man Venom flick.
Oh, really?
Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage, the next Venom that's coming out
Oh, yeah.
end of this year or something.
Um,
Woody Harrelson is playing Carnage. Finally.
it's been a while since
Dude, I love all these ideas. I really do.
I I love all your ideas, and now I was just like, what do we do? So, um,
Part of me was even thinking, dude, what if we took a page out of Black Mirror's book and just did every idea? Like
yeah,
episode.
yeah,
Each new one is literally just a different relationship of the two or something.
yeah. Or I mean, we could even start by just like drafting the short film version of, so whether it's just a piece of it, whether it's a whole story or just a piece of like the Whiplash short film.
No doubt.
Uh,
Just like a
and
speck.
just just something that gives a taste of what the relationship
Uh,
would be like. Because yeah, I would like, even your first idea that you're not necessarily as like as confident in, from the sounds of it, like they all sound good.
for sure. Yeah,
And
yours too.
but
And the whole time I'm hearing yours, I'm like, in grammar, and like connect this to that shit. Like
yep,
I was just making connections in about everything you said. So
right on.
yeah,
Well, so we're on the same page, and
yeah,
so that was like right off the bat. That was something I remember us saying. You saying specifically that, like, just to see where we would fall with it and compare thoughts, and
yeah,
um
definitely.
but
You know,
Yeah.
Fucking,
Yes.
I'll put in a sound effect.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.